I want to talk about changing of the base values. If you want to do network calculation, if network calculation needs to be done using base value, let us assume you want to do network calculation using base values. All the per unit values must be calculated using the same base values. If you want to do network calculations using per unit value, if you want to do any calculation on the power system on a network using per unit values, all those per unit values must be calculated using same base values. The base units for those electrical equipment, of course, we know the base value will be SMB. The base value that you have chosen will be things like SMB, VMB, ZMB, and such on and so forth. Those are the new base value. But the given base value is GB, which is representing given base value, while NB represents a new base value. Don't forget new base value. I will explain to you. The given base value is more like the actual value, while the new base value is the value at which the Z per unit has to be calculated, the new base that is given. Now, last time I indicated to us that our Z actual is, our Z per unit, our Z per unit, I said it is Z actual by S, it takes, if it is GB you are using, it takes the whole form of GB, Z actual, sorry, Z actual first, Z actual over Z base. Let's say we are talking about Z actual over Z given base or the base value. And after we have interchanged this one, when we found Z to be V over I, which is equal to V base by I base, if you remember, and I multiply by V and I divide by V, and it gives us, this one gives us S base, and this one gives us V square base, if you remember. Then, based on this, you can find your Z actual. Your Z actual, if you make Z actual the subject of the formula, then you now have what? ZPU, then ZPU, and V, if you are talking in terms of the given base, ZPU given base by V given base squared divided by what? S given base. That is what it will leave you with. That is, if you make Z actual the subject of the formula, and you are solving the problem only on the basis of the given base. If you solve it based on the new base, so that means my Z actual also will be what? ZPU NB VMB squared over SNB. In which case, you can say if Z actual is this same thing as also this relationship, you can equate the two to each other then. Let's say you now equate the two to each other. If Z actual is ZPU GB VGB squared by SGB, and Z actual is ZPU MB VMB squared by, if you equate them, then you have what? ZPU GB by VGB squared over SGB will be equal to ZPU NB VMB squared over SMB. So now, given this, if you want to find what your ZPU MB is, you make this one the subject of the formula. All this, I just want to try to come to a determination of the formula for you that you'll be using. So I don't want you to stress too much about the process I'm going through to get it. When you make this the subject of the formula, you now have your ZPU NB to be equal to what? ZPU GB VGB squared, right? By, you have SMB over SGB, then you have your VMB squared. So if you make this a subject of the formula, this is what you come up with. So in that case, you can say your ZPU MB is equal to ZPU GB into SMB by SGB into what? VGB by VMB squared. This is another important formula that you have to take note of. I gave you the first one that you need to take note of last time, and this is the second formula that you